It's Saturday, 9:30 a.m. and that means more watches on the website, and we've got 12 incredible watches for you all. It feels like these weeks are just going faster and faster, which is terrifying. So thank you all very much for tuning in. If you're new here, my name is James. I run Kibble Watches here in Clerkenwell, London, and every Saturday we put new watches on the website, 9:30 a.m. And hopefully, fingers crossed, by the time you're watching this video, the new website is live. So it's going to be a bit of a shock at first, but a new format, a new layout, and it's more intuitive and more in line with usability. I've taken a lot of your feedback and we've implemented that, created this new website and added some cool new features, so be sure to go on over, have a play around and have a little look around and see what you think. Now, before we dive into the 12 amazing watches on the table, what's on wrist? I'm wearing a watch that will be coming for sale soon. This is a beautiful 1973 Hoya Altavia Viceroy. This is a 1163 with a caliber 11 and an MN bezel, so quite an unusual format, but a really great example, and it's going to be priced incredibly cheap relatively for these models as well. So yeah, now that's out of the way, let's crack on with what you're here to see. As the watches on the table, we're going to start with a gorgeous A.Lange 1815 18 karat yellow gold from 2006 with its box and paperwork. Let's take a closer look at this one. What a watch to begin this week's episode with. I have to say, I think in the 10 to 20,000 pound price range, A.Lange along with Moser and a couple of others, are arguably the best value for money in that price range, especially when you consider in that price range is still mostly stainless steel sports models. Now, if you're into that kind of thing and that's your preference, by all means, you know, it makes sense. But I think the value that these are is just outrageous for an 18 karat gold, German, beautifully finished watch with this kind of like hand engraved balance cock. It's just incredible. And really hard for me to understand personally how anyone would choose a Rolex Batman, for example, over this. And that's nothing against the Batman, it just is everything for this, and just how good the value on this is. But anyway, what you're looking at is an A.Lange 1815 18 karat yellow gold. This is a reference 206.021 with that lovely white dial, sub-second, blued hands as you'd expect, with a beautiful Breguet numerals around the outside and minute track. Nicely signed A.Lange crown, really nice case as well. It's been very well looked after over the years, and beautiful exhibition manually wound caliber inside, which is the caliber L941.1. Now this watch is from November 2006 and it does come paired with its box and paperwork, and it's on a newer brown A.Lange strap with its original 18 karat gold A.Lange buckle, as you can see. Very, very nice. And again, I just have to stress, I think the value for money on these is outrageously good. So if you're in the market for a higher end gold dress watch, I would highly consider this watch right here. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Again, this is where this watch just really shines for me personally. At 36mm, it is the perfect proportion by 42mm lug to lug, only 7mm on the thickness, so it fits incredibly well on the wrist and will slip under any cuff, and only 19mm on the lug. So yeah, a little awkward, but there are plenty of options out there, and it's an absolute strap monster as well, so I would play around with the straps. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to an absolute vintage gem. This is a 1952 IWC Mark 11. Yes, you heard that right, a 6B346 RAF military watch. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to one of my favorite military watches. I own a W10 Smiths, which I'm very fortunate to own, and hopefully you can see on the vault. But if I didn't have that, something like this would be my go-to. This is an IWC Mark 11. So this is a 6B346, which is an RAF issued watch. Really lovely black dial with tritium in the T, and this is an MOD dial, so slightly later. For those of you who are not familiar with the history on this watch, this is circa 1952, this example, and they started out as radium and were recycled basically by the MOD, the Ministry of Defence, and the dials were redone in tritium because it was just more, it was brighter and just a better material to use, and they didn't want to let watches go to waste. So most of the ones you see are this tritium MOD dial, and you rarely see the original radium dials, and they do fetch a heftier premium, as you can imagine. Really nice solid case on this one. It's definitely been worn and enjoyed, and as we take the NATO off, you can see fixed spring bars, as well as all the signing you'd expect. The nice thing about this one, original dust cover, all signed on the inside, including the movement, which is a manually wound IWC caliber 89, which is actually hacking, so as you pull out the crown, the second stop, and it's also signed on the movement with the broad arrow, so it is all correct and as it should be. A really nice, honest example. And we've got the NATO strap as well as a older black leather folding strap that you can put over the spring bars. So it comes with both options there. And as I say, circa 1952 on this one. So we are, what are we, 75 years old nearly? Is my math correct? I think I'm sort of nearly there. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go. On my 7-inch wrist, a fantastic watch. And I have to say, I love the full script IWC logo. International watch company stated in full on the dial. Very, very cool. So this is 36mm by 46mm lug to lug, so super wearable for modern standards as well. You're looking at 11.5mm on the thickness, made slightly thicker by the NATO strap, so do keep that in mind, and 18mm on the lug. So go check out this incredible watch on the website today. From there over to possibly one of the cheapest ceramic Panerais you'll find, and that is because it has a small chip on the case, which obviously we have highlighted and we're going to show you closer up. But this is a Panerai ceramic 47mm PAM508. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to one of the most affordable ceramic Panerais you will find, and that is because of that little chip right there. As you can see where the crown guard meets the case, it's on the case, not the crown guard. So yeah, a little awkward and a little annoying, but it is priced into the watch. So as long as you don't smack it right on that exact bit again, you should be fine. But this is a sort of good demonstration of what can happen on ceramics. So do keep that in mind when buying a ceramic watch. You know what you are buying. So what you're looking at is a PAM508 from circa 2010s. No box and paperware, but nice black ceramic case, black dial, with that very nice RAID applied numerals, sub-seconds, and then you also have a date as well as the iconic crown guard system that is synonymous with the Luminor models. Nice faux patina as well, so you've got this nice golden brown caramel colour, and it comes paired on its distressed Panerai strap, which is also worn, so do keep that in mind, and you have your matching Panerai buckle right there. As we flip it over, solid screw down case back, and beating away inside this one is the automatic Panerai caliber P9000. So yeah, if you're after a cheap ceramic watch, whether it be Panerai or any other watch, this is a great opportunity to pick one up at a bargain. Now do keep in mind this is also a big watch, so let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This is no small watch. Now Panerais are meant to be big, and this is definitely on the larger side. The good thing about this, if you, like me, wear watches all the time, you probably have a ridiculous tan line developing. This will cover that completely and probably help make an even bigger tan line. But hey, so this is 47mm by 57.5mm lug to lug, 16mm on the thickness, and 26mm on the lugs. So if you're after a massive ceramic watch, this is the one for you, so go check it out on the website today. Now on to one of the newer releases from Cartier. This is the Cartier Santos de Cartier medium white 35mm automatic. These are brilliant. The size, in my opinion, is perfect, so let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to one of my favorite releases from Cartier in the recent years. This is the Cartier Santos de Cartier reference WSS0029, WSSA, sorry, 0029, and what you're looking at is a very well proportioned 35mm wide dial Santos polished bezel with those classic exploding Roman numerals around the outside, no dates, center seconds as you can see, and it comes paired on its iconic Santos bracelet, which are like these bar links with screws in them, and as we flip the watch over you will see a very nice screw down case back as well as quick release strap. So you basically get your finger in there. Let me try and do it on the camera. You get your finger in there and slide it off, as simple as that, and it's really nice and secure once it is fastened, and to get it back on you just slide it back in and it locks into place. That makes strap changing super easy because this one does come with the bracelet but also 2 additional Cartier leather straps, so that is fantastic. It also has the Easy Link system, so it comes with a little tool in the box. You basically push that little part in, you can see, if I can get it in focus, just below the edge of the link, and it pops out the bar. You can pull it out and then you can remove the links. All super easy and nicely nice to do as well. So you can see concealed clasp right there. Now, beating away inside this watch is the automatic Cartier caliber 1847 MC, and this exact model was from March 2022 with its box and paperwork and the additional 2 Cartier straps, as I said. So you're getting the best of all worlds with this watch, as well as the size. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This size is perfect. Now, I have owned a Cartier Santos, an earlier model, which was smaller than this one, which I would comfortably wear, but I think this size on my size wrist is the perfect size, and just look how it hugs the wrist. Beautifully done. So what you're looking at right here is 35mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, only 8.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. So go check out this watch on the website today. From there over to a Cartier tank. This is the Must large model quartz, and I think probably the best entrance into Cartier, to Cartier tank specifically, if you're looking for that kind of thing in a modern format. But the size is brilliant, so let's take a closer look at this one. Now, for the Cartier tank Must large model, as they call it, even though this is proportionally the perfect size in my opinion, we'll show that a little bit later. But this is arguably the best option to get into for an entry-level Cartier tank that ticks all the boxes. Now, I was asked recently what is my opinion on quartz Cartier. For me, I love it, especially when it has no seconds, and the Cartier tank to me is a simple two-hander watch. So quartz or mechanical really doesn't make a difference aesthetically to me, and I would happily own and enjoy this watch. And also the ease of the quartz, especially the movement that they use in these, the batteries just last forever, so it's a really great option. But your iconic Cartier tank styling with that nice steel case, cabochon set on the crown, exploding Roman numerals, and beautifully blued hands. As we flip the watch over, you can see a screw down case back housing the quartz movement, all the reference and serial stated there, and it does come on its Cartier strap, which appears to be pretty much unworn, as well as its Cartier buckle. Now, the watch is worn, and it has been worn on a deluxe strap, which is included in the box, and this one's from February 2024 with its box and paperwork, and this is specifically a reference WSTA 0041. So this is a great opportunity to pick up a very good condition, obviously worn but very good example of this watch at a fraction of the retail price. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Quite a short strap, so do keep that in mind. You can see on my 7-inch wrist quite tight. I have 2 holes left. I would probably comfortably wear it on the next hole, but just to get it fastened because it is pretty much unworn, the strap. There you go. This is 25.5mm by 33.5mm lug to lug, so really great proportions. 6mm on the thickness, so incredibly thin, and 19mm on the lugs. Again, like every Cartier, they are strap monster, so play around with the straps. But go check this one out on the website today. From there, we are going over to a Studio Underdog. This is the Series 3 Smoked Salmon, which was exclusive to previous buyers. I actually own one of these myself. These are brilliant, and the dial has nothing on it other than the salmon dial itself. Really cool. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now, for a Series 3 Studio Underdog Smoked Salmon, so this model right here was exclusive to previous buyers of Studio Underdog only, and for a very short window, I believe only 1 hour or 3 hours, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was incredibly short. And then the normal Series 3 Salmon was open to everyone else, where it had all the usual text on the dial, as you can see, whereas this one is completely sterile, leaving just that smoked salmon dial, or salmon dial in general, which is absolutely wonderful. And this is the model I chose personally, and we have in the personal collection. Really, really cool watch, and mono pusher as well. So we'll talk about this one. This is the first time at the time Studio Underdog experimented with a more expensive watch, and that's because of the movement. So instead of the Seagull, which is what they typically use, which is a Chinese movement, as we flip the watch over, you can see right there a very nicely finished mono pusher chronograph, which is the Sellita SW510. Now, when this was announced and released, some people had criticism over the price, but I have to tell you, for the 510 movement, this was priced very reasonably out the gate, in my opinion, especially with what some other brands charge who use the same movement. Now, what mono pusher means is the chronograph all functions through one pusher: start, stop, and reset. You've got your running seconds over there at 9 o'clock and your 30 minutes totalizer over here at 3 o'clock. Signed crown, comes paired on its original Studio Underdog, and the strap tailor black leather strap, which is very nice, with a signed buckle right there. and this one is from November 2024 with its box and paperwork. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, very comfortable and very nicely proportioned at 38.5mm by 44.5mm lug to lug, 13.5mm on the thickness, and some of that is in that heavily domed crystal on top of the case, so do keep that in mind, and 20mm on the lug. So endless options. These look fantastic on mesh bracelets, so definitely check those out. But go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a super affordable and in my opinion super cool Hublot. This is the Hublot MDM, so the classic range Geneve quartz 36mm, and this one actually comes with its box and booklets if I'm not mistaken, all for under $1.5 grand, which is brilliant. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for the Hublot Geneve MDM classic range, as you can see, with that quartz movement, really great design with the porthole design case, with the notches in the bezel, the slight flanks on the outside, sign crown at 3 o'clock, and the integrated rubber strap, which is the original one, which is actually surprisingly in good condition still. Now, it does mean you can't size it, and you do have to go to Hublot for different straps if you need a different size, and we'll talk about size in a second. It does fit my wrist just about, so do keep that in mind. But you've got date over there at 3 o'clock, nice sword hands, which have corroded a little bit. In certain lights it's more visible than others, but I have to be honest, actually on wrist it's not really that noticeable. Nice matte black dial, and this is a reference 1521 powered by a quartz ETA 955.412. Now as we open up the watch, you pull the clasp one side and then the other. You can see nice screw down case back with everything stated right there. Hublot proudly stated also on the rubber strap. This one is from circa 1990s with its box and booklets, and is priced incredibly well for the example in terms of condition, but also the watch in general. You do not see these come up often. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimension. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. I can wear this when it's on a really hot day. It does get a bit tight. So do keep that in mind, but here we go. So what you're looking at is 36mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, 6.5mm on the thickness, so incredibly thin, and 18mm on the integrated lugs, tapering ever so slightly down. So go check out this awesome watch on the website today. Now over to a Tudor Pelagos FXD Blue MN22. So this is the slightly rarer model from 2022. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for the Tudor Pelagos FXD, this is the Marine Nationale 22. So the reference is /22 for the first year they were released. This one's from June 2022 with its box and paperwork. Classic titanium Pelagos FXD case, which have these big, bold, fixed spring bars, so do keep that in mind. And a nice matching blue bezel to that blue dial with the iconic Pelagos hands and dial, which are these sort of blocks of loom. Really cool, super legible, and it does compare on its original NATO, or folding strap I should say, with Velcro, and a titanium keeper right there. As we open this up a little bit and take it off, or at least make it more visible, you can see the Marine Nationale logo right there, MN22 proudly stated. So these are more rare than the standard models, so do keep that in mind. But this is a reference 25707B /22, and as I say, June 2022 this one. Powered inside by the automatic Tudor caliber MT5602 screw down crown. I mean, this ticks all the boxes for a cool looking dive watch, but also has that little bit extra for collectors, and only collectors would know. So yeah, let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, super comfortable, and you can put this on any which way you want. You know, I have some people say this is the wrong way, you can flip it around and wear it the other way. Whatever works best on your wrist. For me, this is the most comfortable. As I say, play around with it. So this is 42mm by 50mm lug to lug, 12.5mm on the thickness, and 22mm on the fixed lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. And then on to another Tudor Pelagos FXD, this time the A.Lange Red Bull Racing Edition, with the carbon case, blue dial, very dark blue dial, pops of red. This is one of my favourite modern Tudors, to be honest with you, so let's take a closer look at this one. Now for the Tudor Pelagos FXD A.Lange Red Bull Racing, this has to be one of my favourites of the FXD line personally. You've got a really cool carbon case, which just has that very nice subtle graining the closer you look. Signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock. Matching black bezel, and then a very deep blue dial, which is almost black in certain lights. Pops of red, and then A.Lange Red Bull Racing stated on the outer Reholt, which is barely visible. So again, it's not screaming in your face, hey, Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. It's very, very subtle, other than on the case back. So let's take a quick look at that. So as we take this strap off, then you can see the A.Lange Red Bull Racing proudly stated right there, but again it's on the case back, so I don't mind personally. Now this is a reference 25707KN and it's powered by the automatic Tudor caliber MT5602 and it's from December 2023 with its box and paperwork ready to go. Paired on its original fabric folding Velcro strap with titanium hardware, as you can see right there. This is a fantastic pickup if you're in the market for a dive watch that has something that little bit different, and again these are priced incredibly well, especially compared to retail, so it makes some good pickups. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, super comfortable and super light thanks to the carbon and titanium construction. So what you're looking at right here is 42mm by 50mm lug to lug, 12.5mm on the thickness and 22mm on those fixed spring bars. So go check this one out on the website today. And then over to a classic which is super affordable, the Tudor Black Bay Pro GMT 39mm, probably one of the best entrants into GMT watches from Tudor in my opinion, in terms of design, fit and feel. Yes, it's on the thicker side, but it wears well. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for the Tudor Black Bay Pro, this is one of the, in my opinion, best entry-level Swiss GMTs you can get from a major brand like Tudor, and the prices of these on the secondary market are outrageously good. Now, yes, it's on the slightly thicker side, so it's one I would always recommend trying on first, but I still think it wears surprisingly well considering the proportions, and the design is fantastic with that matte black dial, pop of yellowy orange there on the GMT hand as well as the text, and the fixed bezel, very reminiscent of the early 1655 Explorer 2, the Steve McQueen or the Freccione, whatever you want to call it. And I've had an Albino one in the past, and it's nicknamed that due to the second hand sort of fading, the GMT hand, sorry, fading. So yeah, it gives that little bit of a vibe in my opinion. Big signed screw down crown with no crown guards, I'm a big fan of that as well. And you've got the faux rivet bracelet with the folding clasp, and this is actually the T-fit clasp. So very nice and comfortable. You can adjust it as you wish. Signed screw down case back as well. So this is a reference 79470, and inside this is the automatic Tudor caliber MT5652, and this one's from December 2022 with its box and paperwork in quite worn and enjoyed condition. There definitely are some marks, which is as they should be really, especially for this age, but we can have it polished on request. We've just left it as is because currently it is unpolished, which to some people means more than wear. So you know, you be the decider of that, but do know we can get it looking like new again on request. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, really comfortable and a really good look. Yes, as I say, on the thicker side, but with summer and the less jackets I'm wearing, something like this I would not mind wearing at all. So 39mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 14.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So go check out this one on the website today. Now on to, I'm going to butcher it, I butcher it every time, please do not judge me, Venezianico. Terrible. Arsenal 40mm blue automatic. Let's take a closer look at this one and not pronounce the name again. How about that? Now for a watch that really does give the Christopher Ward 12 and the Tissot PRX a run for their money, and arguably does some things better than those ones. The dial is beautifully simple in my opinion, and obviously that's subjective, but you've got those sort of blue lines which just sort of play with the light beautifully. A very nice texture right there. Outer ring, applied logo at 12 o'clock, and that's all there is with two hands. So super simple and attractive. A beautifully finished, brushed and polished case and bezel, including an integrated bracelet system right there, which just plays with the light very, very well. As we come around to the concealed folding clasp, which opens like so, and a very nice, nicely decorated screw down case back, which you can go see on the website for a nicer photo, but it's very nicely done. Signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock, and this is a reference 6221502C, and it's powered by the automatic Miyota caliber 9029, so a high grade Miyota, which is incredibly thin and incredibly compact on the wrist. This specific one is from October 2024 and it does come with its box and paperwork. So if you're in the market for an integrated sports watch that won't break the bank and you're already considering the 12 and the Tissot PRX, I would highly recommend considering this as well, because I think this does it better than both of them, dare I say that. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, sized to my 7-inch wrist. You can see it just works really, really well and looks fantastic. What you're looking at is 40mm by 44mm lug to lug, only 9mm on the thickness and 24mm on the integrated lugs tapering down to the clasp. So go check this one out on the website today. Now onto a Seiko 5, and I think I am being tested today, a Kosuke Kawamura, I think is how you pronounce it, which I believe is a graphic novel designer. Really, really cool design. It makes sense when you look at the watch and the box and everything it comes with. Limited edition of 3,000 pieces. Let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to a really nice and attractive Seiko 5 limited edition with a semi-translucent dial with that orange and blue, where you can actually see the date and day ring. Which is really cool. So you've got English and I believe it's called kanji, Japanese right there. Very nicely done and very nicely designed, especially with that bezel, with the sort of black and grey throughout the whole thing. A nice matte finish across the whole case and bracelet, crown at 4 o'clock, and then you've got a push button folding clasp right there with an exhibition case back, and the clasp actually has the signature of the designer, as well as the case back, which is smoked out so you can just about see through. But this is a reference SRPJ41K1. It's a limited edition of 3,000 pieces total, with the automatic Seiko caliber 4R36 inside. This one's from September 2022 with its full box and paperwork, which is really cool. It comes with a nice design and sort of little poster in there as well. So this gives you a lot more than just the watch, and the watch is already fantastic. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. These wear very, very well. Seiko get wrist ergonomics just right at 42.5mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, so nice and compact on the lug to lug length, 13mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs. So go check this watch out on the website today. So there you have it, 12 watches in this week's drop. Let me know down in the comments what's your favorite. I think for me it has to be the A.Lange, but close second is the IWC Mark 11. I've always loved these, and this is a really good example and a great opportunity at a great price as well. So yeah, some really great watches. I look forward to seeing you all again next week for even more incredible watches, including what's in that drop. Let's have a quick look. We've got a nice gold Rolex, a Vertex. We've got a very cool tuxedo dial, the Cultra Memovox. Oh, how could I forget a Corum Golden Bridge? Yes, 18 karat early one from '88. But yeah, some really cool stuff. We'll see you all again next week. Take care.